So we're all dog faces. We're all very, very different. But there is one thing that we all have in common. We're mutants. There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us. Something seriously wrong.
Alright, kids, so we're here again on episode 52. I do apologize for the... No, I don't. Fuck that. We tried something new and different on the last episode with that video game thing, and maybe it didn't turn out, but we fucking tried, damn it.
It was pretty bad.
Doesn't mean I gotta say I'm sorry. Fuck that.
No, that is out of character, I'll give you.
So we got some really interesting news coming around, man.
Oh, yeah?
Did you read who is directing the Avengers?
No.
Joss fucking Whedon.
Joss Whedon. Isn't he your master now?
He is my master now. And I can no longer say with 100% certainty to people that bad things don't happen at cons. You know, one of my main tenets of saying why I wasn't a sports guy and how gatherings of geeks are so much more
What happened at a
civil
con?
and normal and, you know, well, civil. That's definitely not normal.
Fair enough.
I'll retract the normal. But apparently a guy wanted a seat in Hall H and stabbed a motherfucker for it. Stabbed him right in the face with a pen.
Alright, because I was kind of waiting to find out if he stabbed him with some sort of uber Klingon sword.
No, they won't.
Krash Nasdugnak!
Kapla!
What does that mean? It means get out of my chair, motherfucker!
No, they won't let you run around with unsheathed weapons.
Well, you know what? All you gotta do is unsheath it. A sheath weapon is not the most complicated thing to change into an unsheathed weapon. It basically involves pulling, and most of the guys there are going to be good at that.
Oh! Snap!
Oh, no, you didn't!
Oh, that's funny. And something I'm anticipating with great anticipation. Apparently, many years ago, remember CrossGen?
Not fondly, but yes.
Well, yeah, you liked Ruse.
I did like
I liked Ruse immensely. They were bought out by Disney.
Weird.
So guess who gets to publish them now?
Disney?
Marvel.
Marvel. Okay.
Very interesting. They don't have any concrete plans just yet, but apparently at the con they had this little teaser, tiny... You can't really call it a trailer, but they had this image of the CrossGen sigil there.
Right.
And, you know, it's theirs now. So somebody finally copped to the idea they had a whole extra universe they could work with. So, hopefully they'll bring back Ruse. I could care less about, you know, the rest of them. You know,
What else was it?
Sojourn, Sigil,
I never read any of those.
Way of the Rat,
Never read that.
several other things.
I
There
did
was a couple of
try...
sci-fi ones.
I tried Sigil once, I think. I didn't care for it.
Sojourn made me feel dirty just looking at it because it was Greg Land.
Were they the ones who did that 18 World War II Dragons book thing?
What?
It was like a World War I book, but they were like, everybody had their own little dragons.
That was probably them, yeah.
That was actually decent. I enjoyed that.
I could read that. I'll give that a go.
I think you might have a couple of them in my stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
God only knows.
And, yeah, that's all I'm really concerned about. It wasn't... Nothing really shocked me or drove me up the wall or anything like that. Mark Waid is going back to a Cap mini.
Intriguing.
Ought to be interesting. I always enjoyed his Cap stuff. I got nothing.
Alright.
That's all the good news. I spent a half hour writing this shit down so I could talk about it, and then I left the list on my goddamn desk.
I still can't believe you have a desk.
Of course I got a desk. Where else am I going to play my games?
Good point.
Or edit the podcast? Such as it is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some books then, huh? Unless you've learned something interesting and unique you want to talk about.
Project Runway's back on.
No. Nothing like that. But what about this, you got stuck watching Twilight, actually.
I did. I have now seen Twilight from beginning to end. I did read a book and a half while it was going on, but I did watch it, theoretically.
And, I'm really unhappy with the fact you made me watch any little bit of it.
I had a very good reason.
Drove me up the wall. I don't even like baseball, and I'm like, that's not how you play baseball. Vampire baseball. Woohoo!
Edward is very fast.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. He's real quick. Oh, it's a home run, right? No. Edward's quick.
But nothing will top.
The effects running up the hill were just absolutely terrible. Like, that looked like shit that should have been coming out in, 2000. It doesn't look like things that should have come out in, 2008, 2009. They could have done any number of things to make that look better. But, yeah, terrible. Not going to watch the rest of them. Because you can't promise me... nobody strips down, right? Except the guys.
I don't know.
That's unacceptable.
I don't believe there was any nudity in the movie. I did not notice any.
I don't even need nudity. I just need them to not be bundled up. At any rate, speaking of crazy-ass movies, we're watching Night Watch right now. Russian flick. Good stuff. Haven't seen it for a while. What do you like about it?
Night Watch, it's a clever concept done in a unique way. It's just kind of interesting how they shared certain ideas with American horror films of the same style, but did them in their own. It's just a unique film.
That's what I thought.
It's cleverly done. I do think that sometimes there's the Yeah, you're never breaking out a podcast with a good I do think that sometimes we give credit just because it's creative from a foreign country. But no, I totally enjoy this film. Hey, they do love Jerry Lewis.
Fuck the French. Fuck Jerry Lewis. Anyway. But there was something you enjoyed all to hell and gone. Right?
Which is...
Right?
Oh, I am now a huge Atomic Robo fan. Yes. No, that book was hysterical.
Yeah, at Kineticon, I went and got the first trade from Red 5 Comics, Volume 1 of Atomic Robo, and the Fighting Scientists of Tesladine.
It's a great read. I wholeheartedly... It basically, if to call a spade, Atomic Robo
is
Hellboy.
Pretty much.
It's a Hellboy rip, but it's a fun Hellboy ripoff. It's got
not so much it's a ripoff.
You know what? If there was no Hellboy, this would be a huge book. But you have the main hero with the powers, and then smaller dudes that are, it's got the whole BPRD feel. Nothing he does works all that well.
Yes.
You can't tell me reading this book you're not thinking about Hellboy the whole time. But at the same time, he has his own particular charm.
Now I'm going to have to.
He has his own particular charm. It's a clever book. It's a lot of fun. The art style works well.
Yes. The art's very good.
Much like the early Hellboys, the backup characters are basically non-existent. There's no Abe Sapien this time, though.
Which is just fine with me, because Abe is...
But you know what? Abe was awesome to begin with. I'm a big fan of the backup characters in Hellboy. And I would like to see these guys evolve as well, but for the first book, there's not a huge development arc on anybody other than him.
Right.
But the whole thing with the plane, World War II, is awesome.
Yes, that was fun.
Just a great book. And a solid art style, total fun. The kind of thing that you can endorse to people and feel good about them reading.
Yes, absolutely. Totally correct.
And good kid book, too. There's not a ton of violence.
Yeah, you can get away with that for, very early teens, tweens.
You could go young, because there's not the horror.
If you really trust the comprehension level of like an 8 or 9-year-old, you can get away with that.
Yeah, and it's lacking the horror mythological element of Hellboy.
Yeah, so it's not going to be anywhere near as scary potentially. So that's a good thing.
So you're going to have to pull out and organize a little bit. So
No.
what else did you learn from the con world of late?
I've forgotten it all because I wrote it down specifically to talk about it, and I left the piece of paper back at the desk.
Anything?
So, I got nothing.
Nothing. Well, that can happen.
Oh, there's a new Morrison Batman coming out. Batman Incorporated.
B-A-T-M-A-N. Batman Incorporated. Yeah, that was a Kids Incorporated reference,
Yeah, that
people.
was so bad. I can't believe.
Batman Incorporated. Really? Is that going to be
Yes.
like Tony Stark where he's hiring random people just to save the world?
Maybe. It was described in the article as inspired by
Real life events.
Brave and the Bold,
The current or
and
the old
Call
one?
of Duty Modern Warfare.
What? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the video game. All right, yeah, whatever. There, Grant. You know,
That is...
one more reason I want to punch you in the neck.
Dude, your hatred for Grant Morrison bothers, borders. Well, bothers me, but it also borders on the pathological.
It's getting close, man. He keeps doing weird shit like that.
He's a weird guy.
Yeah, well,
Which is not a bad thing. You're allowed to be.
keep the weirdness in Invisibles.
Sebastian O. Great read. The mystery play.
All right, the mystery play I liked.
I love that. One shot, Muth art, however you fucking say it. Muth. The Muth is on fire. We don't need no... that's enough of that. All right, you're supposed to be organizing while I'm killing
Man,
time.
I'm organized. I'm ready.
You're just going to grab from the top. You don't want to plot it out?
You put them in organization when you put them back in the bag.
As I'm done reading them, I'm not sure that
Yeah,
qualifies. as-
because they were roughly in order.
Oh, dear God. Anyway.
At any rate. So, Shed finished off in Amazing Spider-Man.
Love Shed. Of the entire Gauntlet, Shed is the only storyline that I totally enjoyed.
Yes.
I liked the concept of the Gauntlet, but Shed, in and of itself, was a strong storyline. And Chris Bacalo nailed the art.
He did, man. I haven't seen Bacalo art that good in years. He had it nailed. It was clear.
Yeah.
It told the story.
I've always liked him. I just haven't really always enjoyed the books. I mean, Shade the Changing Man was not a favorite of mine. His
Generation Next or X wasn't really your
No,
thing.
it was Generation Next as well. Remember?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, got no need for that.
Chamber, I
Not
have no
anymore.
cheek. I blew it off with my psionic power.
I rip off my skin.
Oh, that was a fun one.
Husk, really? You rip off your skin? That's what.
Mondo.
Do you remember what she ever did with that skin?
No, I really didn't pay a lot of attention to things like that.
I don't remember her doing anything but like getting injured and then ripping it off and then, oh look, I'm fine. Woohoo! The only one that was really a threat was Monet. Or M.
Who later turned out to be two little kids dressed up as her or something out of Captain Jammer.
That part I don't remember, nor do I wish to.
Yes, you do, because it was in freaking X Factor when you tried to make me reread that.
When was that?
Oh, when Peter David came back on it in the re-release.
I gave you one issue. I gave you the anniversary issue.
Yeah, I read it.
And I gave you that freaky one where he reabsorbed his own baby. Which is mildly clever, but also incredibly fucking creepy.
You gotta give credit to thinking that up. Like, that does not pop in your head. What if multiple man had a child, but it was actually one of his multiples, and then he sucked up the baby?
Ew.
Like, how do you run that idea past the, I have an idea for
How do
X
you
Factor.
pitch that?
And then he eats his own baby. But not eats.
Wait, what do you mean eat? You can't eat children in a fucking Marvel book. But what if?
Alright, you could do it in What If.
Yeah, you could probably get away with
Yeah.
it in What If. But no, Shed, I was quite
No,
happy
Shed
with.
was excellent. A huge plus for me. And then goes directly from Shed into...
Grim Hunt, which I was sorely disappointed by.
I loved Grim Hunt.
I
thought
all right,
Grim Hunt-
sorely maybe a little much.
Well, you're allowed.
I thought it needed a little more gravitas.
Well, here's my takeaway from Grim Hunt, because I thought Grim Hunt was a huge thing. I would buy a graphic of Grim Hunt, and let me tell you what. it nailed several key areas. First off, it brought back Kraven, which I'm not ecstatic about because I loved Kraven's last time, but at the same time, it brought back an interesting, conflicted Kraven.
Yes.
More importantly, it cleaned up the Spider-Man universe in huge portions. Madam Web, gone. Spider-Girl, now Madam Web, therefore negligible. Killed off a Spider-Woman and killed Kane.
I was happy with the Kane dying. I didn't mind that at all.
It halved the number of people with spider powers.
Now, if they could only get rid of Ben Reilly.
Where is Ben Reilly?
Who knows? He's wandering the country like Kane.
Are you sure he's not? I mean, to be fair, he could even be gone. I don't know.
Yeah, by now, yeah, because there was a large portion of stuff that we totally blew by for a couple years there.
You know, and if Ben Reilly were still around, you'd think he would have played a role.
Yeah, he probably would have.
So, I mean, they even brought back the Spider Dude from the Straczynski storyline.
Yeah.
Gabriel or
Yes.
whatever the heck his name was.
I was irritated by his daughter's whole I'm an aggressive slacker attitude, which doesn't make any kind of sense.
Which daughter?
The blonde.
Oh, you know what? They're nuts. Fine. All right. The weird little reincarnated Wolfman. Aloysius Craven.
I hate that name so much, man. Aloysius.
But hey, you can call me out. Thank you, Paul Simon reference. But I loved it. I think, and then he kills off his own wife.
That I was really happy
He
with.
pits the two kids against each other. You know where Craven goes from here. You're intrigued.
Yeah.
So you brought back an intriguing villain. You've removed a fucking buttload of useless, pointless characters. There were 3 Spider-Women running around at one time. Now there's 1.
But I was happy with the way he was just like, you fucked up my greatest triumph. I took over the Spider. I did what it took all those years to do. I finally accomplished my greatest mission. I died with dignity, I guess you might call it. And I was happy in the grave because I was victorious for once. And now I gotta start again? You fuck!
But here's the other thing, and this is great writing. How much of Craven's unhappiness at coming back was because they used Kane instead of Peter Parker. If Peter Parker had been sacrificed, what kind of Craven comes back? So there's a depth in the writing that's you totally missed.
No, I totally. I'm not a critic. I'm not a literary student.
You're the host, goddammit, and you bring the talent and turn them on. Not literally, kids. But no, I thought it was great writing. I liked it. It resolved a lot of things. It left a lot of things open while allowing Peter Parker to move on to the next level.
Which they sorely destroyed, in my opinion, with One Moment in Time.
Well, here's my problem with One Moment in Time is that I haven't read the epic One Good Day, or what is it?
One More Day and Brand New Day.
All right. So in all these, this is the infamous forgetting their marriage to save their lives or whatever.
To save Aunt May. A deal with Mephisto to save Aunt May. And the price was nobody remembers you're married.
Right.
The marriage never happened. Things changed. It's different.
Which is monumentally stupid, I think we can all agree. But so now they're going into it and finally dealing with it on some level. They're putting some effort into this. And there's even kind of a hint that while Peter doesn't remember it, Mary Jane does.
She doesn't quite... She gets feelings more than memories.
But there's a hint to it, which means that, and they even resolved that horrible Aunt May... Mr. Yin Yang possession, which has been horrifyingly awful.
Yeah, I have not been a fan of her being a jackass.
So, as they're building these things forward, suddenly Spider-Man, to me, I was as excited about the Gauntlet as there was anything coming out in the respect. Because it's Spider-Man versus all his classic villains in a fell swoop. And then the Gauntlet slowly, and it never sucked. But I wasn't loving every single time. I was hoping for more again and again that I wasn't getting. Some of them were better than others. You know what? The Grizzly never showed up,
The Grizzly. Did you want the Grizzly?
Who are you asking that?
Of course you wanted the Grizzly.
But from Shed to Grim Hunt to now this moment in time thing, I'm at least intrigued with where they're going.
You just love that word.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, I don't want to read a comic where I know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, no, I see that.
Which is one of my problems with so many runs of Batman.
You have a disappointment of Batman that borders on...
Because great Batman is
biblical.
amazing and bad Batman is atrocious. And you don't care because as long as Batman is like bacon to you. Batman equals bacon. It's like, well, this was okay, but you put Batman in it, and hey, that's a fuckload better. How's your salad? It's okay. Try this with bacon. Better.
Hey!
You enjoy The Outsiders? Fuck no.
It's got
Try it with Batman.
now.
Hey, it's a little bit better.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but yeah, I'm excited. Was I loving that particular issue? No, I particularly. But you needed something quieter after Grim Hunt too.
Yeah. But this is supposed to be another major shakeup again, so I'm like, whatever.
You know, a little time. Like, this is my problem again with, like, Brightest Day. You know, it's like, dude, give me 4 seconds of, like, let Green Lantern beat up a space mutant and get some cake. You know?
Get some cake.
Spider-Man can fight the lizard. You know, somebody... Oh,
There's
he was
our
there.
title.
Yeah. What?
Beat up a space lizard and get some cake.
I thought you were going to go with Batman equals bacon, actually. But
I still might.
it's early yet.
Oh, that's great. Having established that, Iron Man 28, still Fraction, still La Roca, still Dharmata. I think La Roca might be rushing it though, because his faces in this issue ain't what they've always been.
I had no problem with that issue. What do you think of the whole Detroit Steel?
They could have named it something else.
Well, all the good robot names are taken. I mean, there's already a Titanium Man.
I want him to
There's a
come back.
Ravager. You know, I mean, where else are you going to go?
Titanium Man's supposed to be coming back.
Well, that would be awesome.
I think it's a mini, though, but
Well,
I'll read it. Absolutely.
Is Fraction doing it?
Don't remember.
But I do
There's some
think
corporate intrigue, which is just fine.
a lot of corporate intrigue, and there's a whole ton of corporateness.
I just wish they'd move on, though, because they got this trend where everybody has to tie everything together at all points. I mean, we've done the Justin Hammer thing. He's dead. He's gone. Call it even.
Well, this story does have a lot of precedent, shall we say. I mean, there's an Armor Wars feel to it.
Yep.
There's the whole Tony Stark versus Jim Rhodes versus a lot of these things have been hinted at in different stories or actually fully done. Like Justine Hammer, really? Because Justin Hammer 2 was already taken. They threw an E in there.
Justin Hammer 2. That's another thing that drives me nuts, man. They can't just break away just a teeny bit, you know?
But you know what, though?
Justine.
Bob Hammer.
Lana. Lois. Lori.
Well, the LL thing in Superman is its own particular hell on earth. Somewhere in that, somebody was like, "Yeah, let's keep going with that. That works." The origin of that has got to be awesome or dumb. I don't know, but there's something floating in that's hysterical. Lois, Lana, Lori, Lex.
LLs.
Just bizarre.
And
then there's Jimmy,
who just totally breaks the mold.
he
Else,
should have been like Levi Leviathan.
damn near everybody else is alliterative except for Perry.
Yep.
And then there's Jimmy.
Jimmy Olsen, boy
sidekick ever.
No. Not even the worst Superman sidekick.
Oh yeah. What,
I can name somebody
you gonna
you hate
pull
more.
out Bibbo?
Exactly. Who I'm gonna pull.
Bibbo, the punch drunk bar owner.
Imagine how much you would hate Bibbo becoming Turtle Boy.
Oh.
Or Bibbo
That
finding Bouncing Boy's bouncing potion.
that might actually be comedy gold, really.
Only in the hands of a genius.
Giffen.
Most people would turn that into a monstrosity of epic proportion. I'm Bibbo the Turtle Boy!
Hey, you see my friend Superman? He's my best pal.
Yep, no.
He's my favorite.
All set with Bibbo. Alright, so I do feel that Iron Man
Yeah.
is pushing it to go quicker than the storyline. Like, one of the cool things about Armor Wars is that there was a much longer build-up that people seem to remember
Yeah.
of where little things were bothering Tony while he was fighting people. Like, you had Spy Master showing up a couple issues before,
Yep.
and the whole thing with Force and Whiplash
Yep.
and Blizzard.
Blizzard. Haha, yeah.
Yes, that's why I'm on this podcast, because I remember shit like that. That originally Whiplash was teamed with Force and Blizzard. And then when Force went friggin' honest, they moved in the Beetle.
That's right.
Yes.
And they all had Stark tech in their armor.
Yeah. But Stark was slowly becoming disillusioned throughout the whole... But now he's back, he's rejoined the Avengers, and suddenly he's disillusioned, moving right into this new problem. We're going to rebuild this whole company, zing, zing, zing.
He shouldn't even be really worrying about them because he's trying to do all the socially conscious shit now.
Well, I
So
think
who
the
cares
issue-
if
I
another
think my
armor
issue is that
manufacturer brings up a military application?
I just wanted to have a single issue fight. You know, beat up one dude, and then have these things. But you've got the fight is epic because he's getting involved in the Troy Steel aspect.
Yeah.
The backstory is epic because it's all about the company and what's going to happen there.
Right.
There's no little moments.
There really isn't.
And I still love it, and I'm enjoying the book immensely, but I'd like to see something smaller happen.
Yeah, because 2-3 pages here and there with, Maria and Tony making out in the armor repository is not really sufficient.
And even that's epic. You know, there's not a quick romance. There's not one thing that
Yeah.
stops in this issue.
Nope. It just barrels forward. It's like, let me take a breath. Let me get, he should be rediscovering himself.
What do you mean, like masturbating?
Rediscover. Not re-explore.
Oh, okay.
Dipshit. You fucking tard.
I'm confused.
He doesn't need to re-explore himself. He's got Maria.
Apparently he doesn't. Or he doesn't remember having her.
Well, yeah, there's that. But, he'll get her back. They had a quick little... They'll get more. It's Tony. He never not gets the girl.
It's a good point.
And now that Happy is haunting fucking Pepper.
Who knows where we'll go there. If we see... by the way, you are ordered by me to drop Iron Man if there's any moment where Pepper is making a pot and Tony slowly puts his arms down... Or, no, sorry, Happy slowly appears. Any references to Ghost, and we're done with this book. Any Whoopi Goldberg references, and we're the hell out.
Oh, that's funny.
I guess I just miss light moments in huge books.
Isn't that what I've been saying for months?
No, you like light books. I like the epic feel. I just would like to see the occasional tinier thing happen in them.
Yeah.
The pause before the storm.
A couple of ones and dones. Although him sitting at a drawing board designing a new circuit is not going to make for compelling storytelling.
Yeah, but what if he's doing that and suddenly somebody shows up and he fights them and then goes back to it? Like, that's your one and done. That's what used to happen.
Yeah, the Beetle could swing by and he could kick his ass and he could, well, that's a day's work right there.
But to be fair, there is a hint of the Mandarin coming. We had the annual.
Yes.
So the Mandarin is coming, and that equals badassness a read.
The equals badassness a read. But it's on my pull list. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
It's a great book, and I'm still enjoying it.
Avengers and New Avengers. Can we leave Doctor Strange and Brother Voodoo to fuck alone? Flip a goddamn coin. Pick who's gonna be the Sorcerer Supreme instead of the Burrito Supreme.
I'm assuming this is to get Doctor Strange back to being the Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, that's totally what it's
Brother
for.
Voodoo as the Sorcerer Supreme is...
Lame?
That's not even the right word. Brother Voodoo is lame. Trying to upgrade him to Sorcerer Supreme.
There were so many other people that could have been Sorcerer
No,
Supreme.
there really aren't. There's one person who could be the Sorcerer Supreme.
There were all those guys in Triumph and Torment they could have used.
They were all ridiculous. You remember the guy with the Mojo spear?
Shit,
his
yeah.
voodoo lance?
Yeah. Major
The British
Mojo.
chicken bondage? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you remember that. No,
They were good enough to compete for a boon from the aged Genghis. So they must have had something.
bah humbug. No, I would
don't
like
you
to see...
bah humbug me.
I want to see Doctor Strange have to be the Sorcerer Supreme, and then I don't want there to be a Doctor Strange book, because Doctor Strange books don't work. I've enjoyed them, but they're never really strong.
Nah, that's true. I've tried to go through a bunch of the ones you gave me, and I'm like, all right, I've had my fill after 3 issues. I'll come back to it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, fun. Oh, not so fun. Wait till you get to Rintra, the giant green demon assistant.
I remember Rintra.
Yeah, no one fondly remembers Rintra, however.
Too funny. But Cage being possessed and growing huge? Really?
Well, here again we have the possible resurrection of Jessica Jones as Diamond.
It's Diamond?
Wasn't that her name? What, Diamond, her superhero name in Bendis' book there?
I don't remember that, but that doesn't mean shit. So.
But that now we have a visit to hell for the Avengers. And, by the way, if you're going to make fun of Doctor Strange and Brother Voodoo, please don't leave Damien Hellstrom off the
Oh,
list.
no. The son of Satan is a target of much derision. That guy, he just, when did he ever do anything useful?
Well, Ellis wrote the book for a while, and it was creepy and weird.
Yeah.
That's the extent of what I
But
have
did it
for
make
you.
it enjoyable, and did the character make any kind of impact?
Well, it got canceled, and then they went on to do the Druid brother, Dr. Druid revamp that lasted 4 issues.
Oh, dear God.
That I loved, and you hated me for even liking. It did take Dr. Druid out, though, so...
Wow. You remember when he was in the Avengers?
Laughably, yes.
Ugh, that was... He did not impress me in the least. I mean, there was some good stories during that run, and I certainly liked Buscema's art, but man, I didn't see the need for that tubby leotard wearing motherfucker.
The only cool thing about Dr. Druid is that he didn't look like the only hero in the Avengers who ever didn't look like he belonged in the Avengers.
He was just wearing a danskin and a cape. That was it.
Honestly, it's like running out and finding your dad in tights fighting crime. Like, what the well, in your dad's case, it would be Puck, but, you know...
He is short.
If you picture my dad, the superhero, and you've seen my dad, a chubby dude with facial hair and a fucking cape and tights. You can't picture my dad wearing it, but that would be what he looked like.
Unadorned tights, just a red danskin.
Horrible. Nothing good ever came out of Dr. Druid except for 4 issues by Ellis in which they killed him.
Yes, well, what are you going to do? You still hating the Kangy goodness?
Of course I hate Kang.
I don't understand.
What's going on in that book? Close it right now. What's going on in that book?
There's the rogue Celestial who Kang is trying to help stop because Earth is going to be destroyed
By,
the rest of the Celestials.
as a result of,
The rogue Celestial doing something.
and where does
Where does what?
Marvel Boy fit into this?
Marvel Boy. He's the Beyonder, right?
No, Marvel Boy. the Kree warrior.
I know he's not the Beyonder fan.
And what about the kids of the Avengers? How do they fall into play?
They become assholes. World-conquering assholes.
So that's your plot description of this book. Celestials, you skip Marvel Boy, and you skip the Young Avengers.
But it's Bendis and JRJR.
I love that, but
It's great.
Kang needs to go the fuck away.
What could be better? Oh, and Ramita's like way up top, man. Oh, and Apocalypse. Don't forget Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, with
The
the
misplaced Apocalypse.
Scarlet Witch as one of the 4 horsemen.
Yeah, when the fuck did that happen?
It didn't.
That's in an alternate future because the time-space continuum has been ripped. Which is kind of not unusual for an Avengers book.
Which is why this is, you know what? It's good
This
writing,
is why
it's
this is
great
nothing
art,
new.
but I do not care about Kang. I have never cared about Kang, and this is why. Because this story makes less sense than flip-flops.
Which you happen to be wearing right now.
Doesn't mean they're not useful, but it doesn't make a lick of sense.
Secret Warrior 17. Last Ride of the Howling Commandos. Where we get a bunch of congressmen arguing about the merits of the Secret Warriors and S.H.I.E.L.D. and a lot of nothing else.
Here's the great thing about this
Big
book.
reunion. We're needed. We got a super team. We're going out. We divide up the team. Wait, we have great memories of Cap. There's an explosion and the book's over.
Here's the great thing about this book is I ignore you. First off, this book belongs to one person, and that person is Dum Dum Dugan. His testimony, awesome.
Awesome.
The other thing that's great about this book, and it's thrown away, and I don't think it will be, is that there are 2 other teams.
Yes, 2 other heretofore unknown, and therefore in keeping with the whole secret
Warriors.
routine.
Fury teams.
Which is just fine. I hope they don't do the whole young slacker hero thing again.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the whole Secret Warriors book has changed so much.
Yes. Because the initial Caterpillars thing I was happy with. Only one of them was a real lame-o.
Yeah.
Everyone else seemed earnest and ready to be, go out and fight. But if they start bringing in people like fucking Grunge, and a really poorly unconstructed fucking Johnny Storm, then I'm going to be unhappy with that.
I can see that.
Anything else?
No, I'm still intrigued by this book, but I don't understand what it's about anymore. The book has changed so much.
Yeah, where is it trying to go? That's kind of... It's alright, well, you had the whole Hydra thing. You determined that Hydra and the Serpent Society and the... Who else? What's that other one? AIM.
Well, AIM is not really a threat to anyone.
Well,
ever.
AIM was an offshoot of Hydra. Hydra turned out to be in control of everything on the goddamn planet.
Then you've got the Kraken.
And then they had that little internecine war, and then it's not a factor anymore?
Viper, Madam Hydra. Like, there's so much going on.
Focus, damn it. Focus.
All I know is that Dum Dum Dugan is the man. And I can live with just knowing that. I have no interest in dropping... Like, you buy it, to be fair. But what my point is, I've told you to drop books even though I don't pay for them. I have no interest in dropping this book. I just need it to make a little more continuity sense.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line. Unless they're going to end it after this.
It's the fact that the self-contained continuity isn't everything it could be.
And then the other great thing is, of course, that it brought back Garrett from fucking Elektra Assassin.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, not your favorite.
No. Don't need him. Night Watch is getting weirder by the second.
You've forgotten how much stranger this film is than you think it is.
They're in a tunnel baiting on a, injured, dying vampire while hundreds of cars swing by per second, and it's just weird. Well, yes, just give it to her so we can all move on.
She's gonna drop it.
Next
Who are you
scene,
kidding?
come on. Next scene. Oh, and she drops it. Oops. Unwritten. Totally incoherent here. Unwritten 14 and 15. This thing is getting big, huge ink.
It is a great book. It is a confusing great
It
book.
is. I'm going to have to go back and reread them as a unit.
I know I've missed some, so I'm in what I like to call a fucking hole.
Yeah, I've missed at least 2, I'm certain of.
So, you know what? I think this is a book
Yeah?
that's going to do better as a graphic.
Yes.
Because it's not building as a storyline. Like,
No, it's
when
not
we
really-
first discovered
not
Fables,
Yeah.
it's because I bought a graphic on the cheap,
Yep.
4.
Yep.
And we read it and like, oh my god, it was self-contained. It involved all the other storylines, but you read that graphic, you're like, oh my god. If I found one issue from that period, we'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Unwritten, we've tried to follow from the beginning, and you go back and you read the first graphic of Fables once we got into it, and the first storyline was captivating from the get-go. But it also moved and ended. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
introduced a world and then resolved the first storyline within that world.
Yes.
Here we are on issues, 13, 14, 14, and 15?
14 and 15.
And nothing has been resolved
Yeah,
yet.
we still don't know what the true point of anything is yet.
Right. So I'm just saying it's a little more challenging. And that's not inherently a bad thing.
No, not at all.
But at the same time,
But you would like a little more tangible progress.
so I'm thinking, it's a graphic book. It's a book like Sandman.
So a lot of Sandman
Although even
stories were far
Sandman-
more self-contained.
Not even in a single issue sense,
And
though.
he decided to take that whole little let's take a breath before the big shit stuff. I mean, the Dream Country graphic was 6 issues of totally unrelated shit.
True.
Just
But
not even connective
even
tissue.
the
Just
first Sandman book, the first 6, 7 issues were introducing the character, him reclaiming his power, logically building this.
Yes.
By the end of issue 15, we don't know who the villains are. We don't understand.
Their motivations.
We don't understand the hero's motivation. We're just being introduced to Tim's father. We don't know if Tim is the character or the son.
Right.
And we don't trust his friends. And now there's a vampire again. Except now it's a
And now
fucking
Lizzie's
diplomat.
and now Lizzie's floating around in time. They had to bring the time thing in.
Yeah, apparently she's a character from a Dickens novel.
Yeah. What? No. Wait. That's what I said when I was reading it.
Oh, okay. You're not just saying that now?
No, I'm not just saying that now.
All right.
Don't be silly. So yeah, I mean, it's like I think somebody took a big page from Potter on that one.
Obviously, Harry Potter plays a lot, but so do a
Well,
lot of
just
other books.
the mechanics of the transfer between it. I mean, it was like going to Diagon Alley. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, but there are a lot of literary references that I appreciate. The book is subtle in a lot of great ways.
Oh yeah.
And it's gone into some Hunter things. It's gone into done some very intriguing things. And I like it. It's another thing I would never say, hey, stop this, I don't want to read this anymore. I just don't understand it yet.
Yes.
And I'd kind of like to by now.
I mean, this is already longer than I gave Red Hulk.
Well, Red Hulk just wasn't your kind of book. This is, you like these kind of thinky books.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah, like, if this weren't as well done as it is, you would have dropped this book.
I'd have gave up ages ago. I'd have gave up. I'd have given up.
You can give up if you want, son.
And as if
Y'all
Bendis-
come from a quitter family, boy. We give up all goddamn day.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the goddamn truth.
I was kidding, dude. Really? Keep your home life pathos out of the podcast, please.
And as if Bendis...
And there's another possible title.
Keep your home life pathos. That might be a little long. As if Bendis doesn't have enough to do, he whips out his own icon book. Scarlet.
Okay, first off, embarrassing story. When I saw this book, I'm like, why the fuck is Bendis writing a G.I. Joe spinoff?
I thought about it for a half a second, too, because she looks like she might be a pissy G.I. Joe character.
There is a Scarlet G.I. Joe character.
Exactly.
And the girl's holding 2 guns.
That's what I'm saying. But then I saw Icon, and I'm like, well, I guess that ain't it.
I don't remember who publishes G.I. Joe.
So she's essentially pissy about the world and horribly disappointed that there's bad things happening in the world. So
she's going to change
she
it.
gives up her slacker life with her druggy boyfriend.
Well, he's dead.
Because
the cops killed him.
Oh, boy. Oh, the man has oppressed the girls. Yeah.
Dude, be fair, that would suck.
Well, yeah, of course it would suck, but it's not exactly something we ain't read before.
Well, I don't know. You know what? This is a perfect example.
I
love Bendis.
With
I'm
no
going
future.
to always go for Bendis right off the bat. But if this book doesn't go anywhere quickly, whatever. You know, to me, it's like when we were doing the graphic reviews, we talked about Alias, and I was like,
yes.
Alias is a book I'd buy in graphic. I would not buy single issues.
Right.
This could well be that book as well. And even then, you know, it's certainly. I'm a little bit intrigued what's going to happen next. But I'm not like, oh my god, I can't wait to find out where this girl goes with her rifle.
I'll get the next couple. I'm not saying I won't do it.
The art was solid. The writing, he built the character where reading it was interesting, but there was absolutely nothing new offered in this first issue.
No.
But on the other hand, nothing was so bad that I was like, oh my god, this is annoying.
You want to go straight for the crazy shit, or...
Bring it all. What do you got next?
Denny O'Neil's Detective Comics.
Is this with Robin and the early Joker story?
Yes.
This is why Denny O'Neil writes Batman. Because this was fun.
He needs to stay on it, but they're not going to do it.
No. And you know what? He doesn't. We need writers like this. Denny O'Neil's done Batman.
Yeah.
You know?
It would be neat to see what he could do with
this
damn near
anything else. This is the old pro
else.
showing up and showing people up.
Yes.
It's like, oh, hey, look, here's Joker shooting somebody with a prop gun that turns into a spear gun. You remember why that was cool? Because I invented it. Mother humper! Because you know Denny O'Neil doesn't swear.
Of course he does.
He's Denny O'Neil.
Yeah, and?
He doesn't have to. Words bend themselves to seem like obscenities for him. Tell me honestly that wasn't the most fun you've had in Batman in months.
This is. If I could have a lot more of this, I'd be very, very happy.
You had Robin acting like a jackass. You had the Joker being creepy but not horribly creepy. No one got slit with a razor blade in an uncomfortable area.
Yes.
Nobody named Dr. Pig showed up.
Yes.
No,
that was another bit of news.
No weirdly transsexual Mexican super vigilante hitman guy.
Oh, bizarre! Thy name is Morrison.
But no, it was a fun little this is what you want in Batman Confident. Is you want little stories like this.
Yes, this would be, things like this would be perfect for Confidential.
And this is exactly too here you have Batman reliving his memories as Robin while being Batman. You know, it was clever.
Yes.
And it ends on a dark, horrifying note to throw it all off. I proved you're innocent. Oh, the Joker killed you. Should have seen that one coming. Guess I'm not Bruce.
Of course. Whereas Grant Morrison's Batman 701, R.I.P. The Missing Chapter, just move on and give me another fucking story, man.
Well,
R.I.P. has been 2 fucking years.
Have you read R.I.P.?
Yes. Did
you like it?
No.
I have not read R.I.P., so I didn't understand a goddamn thing that happened in this
When
book.
he got lost in Final Crisis, that's continuing on. He still ain't back from that.
He's getting there.
So
He
I
fought
really
Blackbeard
didn't
last
need
week.
I didn't really need a missing chapter of R.I.P. just yet.
I'm assuming there's something in this book that's going to play. Well, this book kind of plays it. It fills a hole that I didn't know existed between R.I.P. and Final Crisis.
Yeah, there is that.
And it was a decently done book. It's a filler issue that's not filler. It was well drawn.
It's probably got consequences, but
The only problem you have with this book is A, you hate Grant Morrison. Fine, the only two problems. And B, you didn't like R.I.P., so revisiting it doesn't appeal to you.
no, it doesn't.
But to me, I hadn't read it, so I didn't understand it. But at the same time, we see a character going into Final Crisis not recovered from another giant event, which we haven't seen anywhere else in all these giant events.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, I'm fine. Never mind that I just saw zombies of everyone I've ever known eating each other with space power rings.
He's going to have a lot of catching up to do.
That would be an awesome comic. And then the zombies showed up. What the fuck? And then Zombie U showed up. What the fuck? And then he created the white ring. What the fuck?
That would be great, man.
Oh, by the way, Captain Boomerang's back.
What the fuck? I could handle an issue where they just sat there with a bunch of talking heads, catching him up on what's been going on the last 2 years, and him going, "Are you serious?"
Yeah. You know
Really?
what I'm hoping? You know what I'm really hoping? It's a small thing, but I'm dying for this. Is that Batman comes back
Yeah.
and remembers Maxwell Lord.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because when Max put the whammy on the rest of the planet, he hasn't back yet. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Yes,
It's a little
very good.
thing that I would absolutely love.
That's awesome. I really hope they thought of that. Because Bat's teaming up with, and Guy Gardner shouldn't have a problem either because he's been sitting on Oa forever.
Who knows?
If they could get him back, then yeah, that'd be fine. But Bat's taking on Max? Fuck yeah. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, so that's my. But as far as this goes, this to me is why people like Grant Morrison, because Grant Morrison on Batman, because it's clever writing. It filled a hole, and it was a filler issue that actually was a decent issue. I get why you don't like it because you hate R.I.P. and you hate Morrison. But from the perspective that I'm coming from, it wasn't a great issue because I didn't know what the fuck was happening. So you remember when that guy hit me? No, I have no clue. But you see a Batman, Batman in a sense, going into Final Crisis when he needs to be his most Batman,
Yes.
and it fills a hole. It fills a storyline hole, and it makes sense. So it was a fine issue, but it meant nothing to me because I really didn't read the previous giant epic.
Superman Batman 74?
Oh, is this the end of Luthor Planet?
It's finally the end of Luthor worship. But,
This book needs to get better a whole lot faster.
yes, this is teetering on the edge of Tech Jedi cancellation.
I'm not interested. I'm just not.
Although Supergirl and Damian are supposed to team up soon. So that could be interesting. That's supposed to be lighthearted.
All right, well, you know what? I'm sure that would be fun. You know what? Maybe we'll get a
'Cause
friggin'
can you
Batmite Crypto friggin' double team.
Probably not. But, it'd be nice to see her just, whack him upside the head when
You
he's
just
being
want
a
to see
little...
people beat up Damian.
Shit, yeah, I want to see people do... I hate that character, man.
But the fact of the matter is that Superman Batman tells epic stories that I don't like. And that's just not a good... Huge, epic, lame.
The only thing I ever liked Damian saying was crime is doomed. I thought I felt that humorous and appropriate to his personality and, something that Dick Grayson wouldn't mind hearing. Something he wouldn't be irritated by. Crime is doomed? Yeah, that's right. We're taking
Because
it.
Dick Grayson is actually the 70s pimp. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't say, shit, I had Road Bridge motherfucker corners all the time.
Colt 45 works
Works
every
every
time.
time.
All right. But yeah, Superman Batman, just not my. But then again, to be fair, wasn't a world's finest fan either.
Yeah. No, a very disappointing book. You got through Superman 701?
I didn't loathe this book the way you did. Superman has just been through the ringer. His entire planet blows up for the 14th time. I've never had that happen, but it seems like it would suck.
Oh, no, it sucks
And then,
for him.
despite the fact that 100,000 people survive, they all die within a matter of minutes afterwards. Thanks to Zod, who we already thought was a douchebag. Then he loses his ghost kid brother and is unable to save Mon-El, who nobody wanted saved in the first place. Then he's home to his wife, and God only knows what she's been up to in the interim. So he decides to walk the earth like Kane in Kung Fu. And boy, do I like saying like Kane in Kung Fu. Because I say it a lot, people. Superman is readjusting. He's been nothing. Because here's the thing about this book that I think you were so annoyed because it wasn't what you wanted.
Well, yeah.
But here you have, all you've had is cosmic uber Superman this whole time. And that character doesn't work.
Well, he can work.
Not for an extended period of time, because the whole point of Superman is the Spider-Man. And the reason those characters that touch the chords, and for that matter Batman, why these three characters have touched the chord and nobody else, is there's a difference between power and character.
Yeah.
And Superman in space, even when he's being all noble and whatnot, he's not a character the same way, because he's not dealing with, he wants to be the everyday person and still do the right thing. That's his character. And when he's in space and they're all flying around shooting lasers at each other like, ha ha, I've been vulnerable.
Yeah, but
so now he's getting back in touch with the common roots that make him the character that we like.
no, I can get that, but I mean, it seems like he was rather easily manipulated by that one woman.
What are you talking? What do you mean?
The one who set him off to begin with. You were out saving the galaxy instead of my husband.
He's always been sensitive to that kind of thing. Do you remember the Hitman issue? Where he lets an astronaut die and he ends up talking to Hitman on a roof?
Yes.
Yes. Superman has always been sensitive to letting people die, even if they had nothing to do with him doing it. That's why he's Superman. Batman would be like, look, the odds were this, and they didn't play out. Deal with it. By the way, here's a support group. I'll pay for it. Because he's sensitively nice.
You know, I was happy with the way he handled the potential jumper, though. I mean, he's just like, all right, you don't want to talk? Well, hey, I'll hang out. It's fine.
But you know what? That was probably my... oddly enough, that was my biggest issue with the issue, because that's not Superman. And they need to find their way back to the guy who will still save him even if he doesn't want to be saved. Like, no, I'm not going to watch you die. What are you, nuts? I'm fucking Superman. I can fly. I'm going to catch you. I'm going to buy you some pie. And we're going to talk. I may fly you to my mom's house and we'll play with the dog and talk about why America is beautiful. I am not going to sit here midair and watch you crash into the ground. Superman...
No, I don't believe for a second he would have let her.
But that was the implication that they were making.
Oh, yeah,
that this is
absolutely.
Superman thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't want Superman to do that.
Yeah, which is why I never believed for a second. So that whole scene in at least that aspect was quite contrived.
You just said you
not
liked it.
in that aspect.
Right.
It was good that he stayed with her because he knew if he stayed with her, she would eventually come around and come down with him.
Well, here's my problem with that. Is that the whole point of the Superman character is that he doesn't know that. He believes it, but he doesn't, and that's why he's rediscovering. Because he's been wrong. He thought going to friggin' Krypton was going to work out a whole shitload better than it did.
Yeah, he did.
But I loved the end of this book, the whole little hero speech outside the box thing, where he makes some little dork his bitch verbally.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Oh. Shouldn't you be saving the world or something? You're a hero, right? Isn't that what heroes do? Me.
Yeah. No, I thought Is it my all-time favorite Superman book? No. I mean, it's definitely very arty, and he's not quite the character I want him to be. The Great Blue Boy Scout is that guy for a reason. And, you know, even the implication that he'd watch somebody, that just doesn't work for me. But I did not loathe the book anywhere near as much as you did.
I might reread it and change my mind. I don't know. You've given me a slightly different perspective.
I'm getting kind of good at that. It's terrifying. What have you done to me?
Black Cat?
Nah.
Me.
You know what? It's another Riot Girl type book. She's a fun character. I loathe the contrived fight with Spider-Man to separate them so she could start the book. Like, that was just horrible. Plus, you know, like, the flirtiness between Black Cat and Spider-Man is the most fun that this character ever has.
Oh, yeah.
Like, her flirtiness with Paladin in Heroes for Hire was a monstrosity of epic proportion. Would I mind reading the second issue? No. Do I care to? Either way, not particularly. It is what it is.
All right.
I think there's a book in this character somewhere down the line, but it would have to be like that Power Girl book.
Probably.
And it's a miniseries, so, you know, how far is it going to go?
It's not going to go that far. As a matter of fact, I decided I wasn't going to bother with it.
So you didn't care for it at all then?
Nope. It's just, twist. No, I'll steal something. I didn't really steal it. What? No, twist.
I stole something else
care.
instead.
Possibly Alan Moore's last comic, because he said he didn't want to do comics anymore.
He said that before, though, has he
Yeah,
not?
he has. So, good start, decent start. Not anything over the top Moorish. Any thoughts on the endless talking in it?
There was a lot of talking. I
Whole
gotta be
lot
honest,
of
most
talking.
of this book did not stay with me.
No.
I read it. I'll revisit it. I do love Alan Moore. I think almost everything that man has touched comic-wise has been gold. Unless it involved Violator or Bad Rock.
But there seems to be a resurgence in people doing riffs on the whole Lovecraftian thing now.
Yeah, but you know what? I like... I mean, here's a guy who actually understands it.
Well, sure.
You know what? I've read a couple Lovecraft stories. If I were to write one, it would not be very good. You know, you have to assume that an Alan Moore Lovecraft story is going to be a lot better. And so, you know, to me, this is the start. But let's look at the last time Alan Moore made a resurgence. The first issues. You ready?
Yeah.
First issue of Tom Strong.
Ooh.
Amazing.
Yep.
First issue of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Awesome.
First issue of Top 10.
Really good.
First issue of Promethea.
Never did read it.
All right, I was pretty intriguing. It was a little weirder, but you'd have dug it. And then what was the other book? Was the 3 stories in one? It had like Cobweb and the Spirit ripoff.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, all right. Well, that, you know, that's the fact that you don't even know what I'm talking about says everything there is to say about that. But this book doesn't live up to those, shall we say?
No.
But at the same time, you know, intrigued. So we'll see what happens next.
It was a law enforcement procedural with a very small smattering of psychological horror, I guess.
To be fair, the last Alan Moore book you purchased
Yeah.
was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 1910
Yes.
that you absolutely despised.
Yes. Hated it. You didn't dig it either.
I enjoyed it more than you, but that's not saying anything. I actually have to find one. I still don't have it, which is depressing. And then after that, I lent you the Black Dossier, and you wanted to punch Jesus after reading that.
Let's go back to the light shit now.
Okay.
Brave and the Bold 35.
Ah.
The Inferior Five and the Legion of Substitute Heroes. Bumbling doesn't begin to cover it.
I wanted to like this issue so much more than I did. And I did enjoy it. Let me start with that. It was a fun read. It really captured the dumbass characters fairly well. But if you think back to the Giffen, and you know what, I don't want to sit here claiming that Keith Giffen is the greatest writer of all time or anything. But if you think back to the Giffen special that I forced you to read of the Legion of Substitute Heroes, is that there was a subtlety to his making fun of those characters.
Yeah.
Or if you go back to what Folio did with the Inferior Five and Angel and the Ape.
Don't remember that.
All right. This is played so broadly.
It's like you can't tell who's making fun of who for what purpose.
The two stupidest teams of characters of all time are thrown together in a time travel story.
Time travel story.
Yeah, well, you know, always
of all things.
And there's some very funny things and some decent use of the characters, but at the same time, you forget how inept. Well, the Inferior Five is so ridiculously bad that you forget how bad the Legion of Substitute Heroes is, and they're actually
and then they
worse
remind
in
you
book.
of that.
But they're so annoyed by the Inferior Five, and the Inferior Five doesn't even recognize how dumb the other ones are, that you end up thinking the Substitute Heroes are better, and they're really not. They're far worse. The Inferior Five get into this for good reasons. The Substitute Heroes cause all this for a bad reason.
Because they just want to be part of the group.
Yep.
We want to be heroes.
What I would urge anyone is pick this up, but find the DC one-shot of the Legion of Substitute Heroes that Giffen did, because it is amazing. And then the highlight of this for me is that they brought and left the Inferior Five in modern times.
Yes. Even though this is largely out of continuity for the most part.
Brave and Bold, yeah, hugely. But at the same time, they've abandoned them here, so who knows what'll play out from there. It's not like there's been a whole lot of continuity issue. Although, to be fair, in when Folio did Angel and the Ape, they did have Dumb Bunny end up with Merry Man.
I miss my tail. We all do, DB. We all do. Birds of Prey is already boring me. Well, there was a misstep going on in Birds of Prey, though, boy. I mean, I like the Penguin. Well, I like Bennis. Simone's done some decent stuff.
You like who?
Bennis.
Bettis?
Ed Bennis.
What's he done before this again? Drawing a blank.
I'm pretty sure he done some Avengers. He's done a few things.
All right. Well, here's my take on Birds of Prey. First off, don't care about Lady Blackhawk. Don't care about Hawk and Dove.
Around. Definitely don't care about Hawk and Dove.
So you're already at a disadvantage. If you're going to have a team book, don't make half the team annoying.
Yes.
The Huntress is an annoying character, but she's central to the Birds of Prey mythos, so fine. But yet another person I don't care about. Now here's the highlight of this book.
Yeah.
For the first time in how long are you seeing a threatening, interesting Penguin?
Yeah, he's been playing the Kingpin light for a while now.
Yeah, the gang boss who never does it.
Yeah.
But here you have the Penguin actually doing what he does, which is creepy shit. Cleverly.
Yes.
And that hasn't happened in a very long time. So I have to find out how this ends, which is a point in his favor. At the same time, though, you've also got... I never read Birds of Prey other than the one-shot that Gary Frank did when they introduced the concept with Black Canary and Oracle.
Right.
So I don't know Savant or Savate, the weird little blackmailer...
Yeah.
Dead guy and what? Who cares about any of this? But I have no idea where this is coming from. And The book to me is not fully formed. I don't understand it. But I am curious to see what's going to happen with the Penguin. I want to see where they go with it. So they get a point for that.
Although I'm kind of mildly surprised that Gail Simone wrote so much cheesecake for Bendis to draw.
You know what? I mean, they're playing to the strengths of this type of book. You're not going to have a Black Canary book without cheesecake, just like you're not going to have a Power Woman book. Like, this whole line...
these opening few pages were a little excessive.
I was a tad surprised. But it was a dream sequence. You know, it's their own way to laugh at you, being like, oh my god, are they really going to have the Huntress have sex? Of course the Huntress is not going to have sex with the Penguin. Really? Why do I even have to explain that to you?
And I think, maybe one more, maybe two more, but I think Power Girl's over for me.
So, in the end, all you really enjoyed was the art?
No. This is definitely not nearly as funny as the other 12 issues were.
Well, I don't, Power Girl to me didn't really hit stride till issue 7 or 8, and so it had about a 4-issue stride.
I laughed a lot when I read that book.
Other than that, well, you also got to be fair, I've enjoyed a lot of
Intergalactic. Come on.
That guy was hysterical. That guy made the first 12 issues for me, and he was only in 2 of them. But this one basically is...
Intergalactic Burt Reynolds. You can't go wrong with that.
Anyone who mocks that is just a heathen.
Little kid blackmailing her.
But here we have... It's a starting off point. It's one of those filler issues. It's an introduction to it. Like, if you like Winnick, but you haven't been reading Power Girl, you pick this up, you get an overview of her world. And what you find out is that it's all confusing and no one is that well developed.
Yeah.
But where Winnick goes from here is what's important. So give it, to me, what you do from this point is give it your normal storyline run.
Finish the arc.
Exactly, because this isn't an arc yet.
Not yet.
This is a development issue. This is like that big issue 29 in Starman. The rest of it was starting to get big, so they had the one capper off issue and then jumped right into the next big storyline.
All right.
Winnick has well, hey, let me finish a point.
I'll spend the money, you douche.
Winnick has a strong enough track record that I'm intrigued by him. And to me, the development of the character has nowhere to go but up. I've learned basically that she has a company. I don't know what it does. She's friends with Terra. I'm not sure who that is. And she won't sleep with an intergalactic Burt Reynolds. That's what I know. And I think she would have, except he was confused as to what sleeping with actually meant. That's what I've learned in 12 issues of Power Girl.
But this new art is a little too cel-shaded manga for me.
I think the last artist who I first encountered when she did the the Ennis Hooker superhero book, and I can't believe I can say that with a straight face, I think she was perfectly in tune with the book, and Amanda Conner was designed to draw that book. I love the one-shot she did for Green Arrow, Black Canary's wedding thing. She has a very light, fun touch. She draws, beautiful women in a cheesecake fun style without being overly creepy.
Yes.
So I do think they're going to feel a brunt of losing her as the artist. I don't know where she's going and why she left it, but so be it. Sometimes the teams move on. JR has a tendency to leave a book as soon as I start liking him on it. But the art, to me, art to me is always secondary to writing. I buy a lot more writers first than I do artists first.
Right.
I mean, as an artist, I'll generally grab anything Art Adams does until I started doing Gen 13. And I'll buy anything that, as we know, I'll buy anything on Earth touched by the hand of Mike Mignola. Literally. Like, if he touches it on his way out the building, you could sell it to me. I'm like, oh, really? His hand has touched this. I guess I could have one cherry Pop-Tart.
Have you framed that little postcard I had signed for you yet?
By my bedside. And yes, I have a Hellboy lunchbox. Fine douchebag all around. Thank you. I know it. My one fanboyness is in Hellboying.
Yeah, well.
And I still have to
gonna
watch
do?
the second movie.
Still?
I don't know why.
Well, shit, man. You got it, though, right?
Yes, you lent it to me.
Yeah. You still have it.
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually, I'll have to buy it, and I still have to watch it first.
Well, let's see. When are you working tomorrow?
Off tomorrow, actually.
Off tomorrow? Well, we'll finish this up and watch that. Battlefields. Motherland, 2 of 3. We finally caught up because I was able to find this randomly somewhere. The Night Witches. Well, no, it was an extension of the Night Witches.
Which is not the storyline out of Battlefields that I was most dying to have recontinued.
No. But unless they start getting more consistent with it, I'm going to have to go trades on these.
That's what I'm thinking. I feel that, maybe it's just the fact that Ennis is spreading himself too thin, or maybe it's just the fact that they're not as special because now it's a constant World War II.
Yeah, that could be. But it does break us out of superheroes.
True, and it's fun. You can't knock it.
No.
But I'm also not like, oh my god, I have to see the next issue of a lot of these.
Right.
I actually preferred the, I think, was it Marvel or DC he was doing the larger one-shots of?
The War Stories
right,
trades?
the ones I was buying.
Yeah, that was Vertigo.
Okay, and I actually preferred those to a lot of the Battlefield stories. I
Yeah.
think he strained himself to go more different dimensions and different styles in Battlefields.
Right. Because he's all over the place.
But the Nightingale story he did with David Lloyd in War Stories.
Yes. I enjoyed that.
Honestly, all I really want, Preacher can't come back, Hitman can't come back. He's pretty much killed those. But the Light Brigade is still out there, or the Rifle Brigade is still out there.
Oh, Operation Bollock. Such good stuff.
That's terrible stuff.
You know that was a real song, right? Yeah.
Yep. I mean, let's be honest. It's awful, but it's awesome.
It occurs to me that aside from, me the history buff and you the pseudo history buff with the intense minutia for past things, we may be the only persons listening to this who knows what song we're talking about unless somebody's actually read Rifle Brigade.
Hitler has only got one ball, the other is in Albert Hall. Himmler has something similar, but Goebbels has no balls at all. Hard to believe they drink in England, people. But no, I'm still enjoying Battlefields. It's not a terrible book, but if you were to stop and be like, Bill, it's time for you to get graphic, and I bought one of those, because you buy issues, I buy graphics. I know our role.
Which is just fine. Absolutely nothing wrong there. So, are we getting anywhere with Hack Slash?
Alright, so the second issue is now I'm almost thinking, I don't even try and skip that one, Mother Humper.
Red Herring? Well, 1, I'm not continuing it. 2, I didn't give a shit about this issue.
Oh, we're going to talk about that fucking book.
I got nothing to say about that
I
issue.
have a lot to say. Put it back. I almost feel that we should have gone with a graphic with Hack Slash first instead of this.
Well, technically, this is her origin story.
Okay, so that's why you went to here first.
Yes.
Because it is... There are some really clever little things that I like in this book.
Yeah.
The way they're turning, certain things. And then there are things I don't give a rat's ass about. Like the weird little video game that made no sense. Here's a farmer whose daughter is a whore. So he murders the boys that are sleeping with her. And then he hangs himself in the daughter and comes back as a pitchfork-wielding maniac. And then when kids come to his camp, his farm, I think camp because it's a horror movie, there's a video game they can play on the farm for no good reason.
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
It's a Freddy Krueger type thing, but it doesn't play out right.
Yeah,
there's no dreams to make so it's playing off of genres, but it's not, at least in this issue, as dedicated to following the plot lines as it ought to be.
Yeah, I can see that. But that can probably be excused by the fact that, it's her first forays out, so she's still figuring herself out in this.
Maybe. It's not terrible, but I'm not enthralled either.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be like the Hit Monkey miniseries I'm waiting for you to show up at my fucking door with? Where I'm
I told you I wouldn't do that.
And yet you will. But where I'm like, fuck you for bringing this into my home, and then I read it. No, Hack Slash is... It's there. I can see people enjoying it because there's a sense of humor about it. But I'm not impressed with it yet either. I think you liked this a little more than I did.
I did like it. Anytime you get to see a jerk get what's coming to him in any fashion, I'm down with that.
But yeah, I just want it to be that little bit better than it is, I guess. It can still be the overly violent, weird. Just, maintain your inner logic.
Yes, that's the big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's huge for me. And I don't feel this book pulls that off perfectly. And I like Ambush Book, for fuck's sake.
All right, you just go right ahead and jump into Red Herring.
Horrible! Absolutely appallingly bad.
It's number 6. We're a bit behind because
I've read 2 and 6.
This is cover dated March.
So I have no clue what's happening.
August.
It's confusing. It's weird. Why? Why is this book... What is the point?
Well, the point is that Image doesn't really screen or select these things anymore.
I think it really does.
No, they don't. No. They are almost exclusively a vanity press now.
So, if they like you, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
Okay. I think there's a concept in Red Herring that would have been a lot of fun. I think there's some ideas that are worth developing. I don't think this book did them well.
No.
I don't think the cartoony style, although good art, matched the story they were telling.
Nope.
It just, it was just a mess. And,
I'm
overly disliking it because there was something there that I would have liked that they didn't get.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm done with it.
Not everything has to be great, you know what I mean? Like, I'm right now on the Sci-Fi Channel, I enjoy Warehouse 13.
Really?
Have you watched Warehouse 13?
No.
It is not the X-Files. Let's just put it that way.
It is not the X-Files.
But it's fun. I can handle fun.
Too funny. I'm such a sucker for Cho. I got this stupid Ultimates again.
Fine. You know what? You buy something for the art, you get what you get. In this case, I think you got what you got. I am officially done with the Ultimate Universe.
Yep.
You bring it, I'll read it. I will. I enjoyed Ultimate Fantastic Four. I thought the Ultimates was creepy but interesting. And I loved Ultimate Spider-Man once it got going. But they killed all those books for things like Ultimate Enemy and
Ultimate X.
Ultimate Iron Wars. Ultimate X, which I notice you're not bringing around anymore.
No. Pregnant Hela with Thor. No, I got no need for it.
Yeah. All right. The continuing story of Valkyrie.
Yeah. The continuing boredom of Valkyrie.
Frank Cho is a great artist, though.
He is. I love him dearly. But that book is dookie. And he can't save it. Not by himself.
Which is not to say you won't grab another one because you like the art, but you're not going to have fun.
No, I'm not grabbing another one.
Yeah, you say that now. You
I'm
probably
not.
said that before that one.
No, well...
Damn, this looks good. God damn me. Because that's what being a fanboy is all about, is the inability to make logical decisions when you like something.
That's exactly it. That covers it so completely. Wow, that's really cogent for once.
I'm only 3 beers in.
Star Wars Infinities.
So this is basically...
This is Star Wars What If.
Okay. And is this the first of them?
Yes.
Are there going to be more?
There was Empire and Jedi.
Okay. You have Empire and Jedi.
I do.
Did you like them any more than you like this one?
Absolutely not.
is this terrible? No, it's not terrible.
It's not so bad that it can't be reread like 6-8 years from now.
Basically, this falls into the same problem that all the Elseworlds did. Is that most of the time you're doing something just to show that it's different. You don't have a good reason for doing so.
Right.
Like, think back to Elseworlds when it started. Even before there was an Elseworlds, you had one book, Gotham by Gaslight.
Yep.
A clever idea that made sense and was well done.
Yeah.
And from there, you go into the Elseworlds. And occasionally you had one you kind of liked. I think you were a big fan of the 40s Scar of the Bat one.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
big fan is an exaggeration, but then you have like the Confederate Batman story, the blue, the gray, and the bat, or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And the monstrosities that came out of there.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is like, okay.
But then we had to wait a while, and we got Red Sun. So
but here's the thing: Elseworlds, for the most part, doesn't lend itself to genius. It's just like reimagining. And that's fine, but at the end of the day, I want a good book. I don't want, what could I do if I did this? Because then you have Stan Lee's reimagined Batman, the Black Wrestler.
And Stan Lee's, just imagine Wonder Woman, the Aztec eco-terrorist. Sorry, Stan, but you just fell down on that job.
I wasn't loving those. But the fact of the matter is that my whole problem with it, but like, do you remember the Elseworld annuals where the only theme was Green Arrow died in all of them?
Ugh.
We need to kill a hero. Kill a Green Arrow. Nobody else will do that.
That was terrible. That was so bad. I don't have many of those. I certainly didn't go looking for them.
You got a lot more out of my collection than you had beforehand.
Yeah, so those weren't really my fault then.
But if you're going to tell an Elseworld story, love the story, not the idea of like I'm going to do this and how will it work out.
Right.
Because you know what, Red Sun is cool, and none of it's a comic book. Cool is a relative term. But what if Superman landed in Russia is an idea I'm curious about.
Yeah.
What if Batman existed in the Civil War is not an idea I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Batman versus Jack the Ripper, curious.
Sure.
Superman coming back into a world after nuclear war, not so, like, it's about the idea, not just doing something to be different.
Right.
And this was not an idea, it was, look, we're going to do this, come up with an idea.
Yeah. But there were a couple of things they weren't thinking about, though. They crashed the Death Star into Coruscant. How many hundreds of thousands of innocent people?
Hey, it's
Probably
a rebellion.
millions,
Yep.
considering.
They were, each and every one of them, Empire, though. There are no innocent people. It's just like the contractors on the Death Star, son.
They knew what they were getting into. Personal politics plays a big role in the job you take. Zatanna 3? You still not liking Paul Dini?
I did not read 2, so...
Well, there wasn't a whole lot of movement between 1 and 3, so... Actually, 2 could have been skipped over entirely, just about.
Okay, well, I did. And I'll give you that. I still was able to follow the basics of this.
See, this could be a good Hellblazer light.
Here's my thing. This is a small thing, but your first storyline shouldn't end in 3 issues.
Why not?
Not if you're going to have this giant epic people dying. Like, if you're Power Girl...
I don't know if they're really trying to push it as an epic.
But you killed like 45 mobsters in the first issue.
Yeah, but they're mobsters. They're mooks. They don't matter.
You've got this giant uber villain that she takes out in 3 issues, and she frees her father's soul. That seems epic.
No, but she made it clear that this guy was just working over his level, and he wasn't really anything to worry about.
He had her dad's
She made
soul.
Yeah, but...
That seems like an epic.
It's not like Mephisto has Doctor Doom's mother's soul. It's not the same... Well, it's the same concept.
It's
hardly
exactly the
it's-
same concept.
It's not the same scale.
I don't know. She made him out to be a pretty badass in the first issue. Maybe she played it down in the second. Like, this guy's actually a jackass, by the way. All I'm saying is that generally, when you bring out your big gun to start, develop it. You know what? I will say I'm relatively intrigued. I love Paul Dini. Don't get me wrong.
They could be thinking of an arc of arcs.
Who knows? You know, they're going for a darker, light touch here, which I think is a really dangerous road to walk.
It's difficult at best.
You know, say what you will about Power Girl, nobody died. You know, it stayed in its fun zone the entire
Yes.
time. You know, like, I'm going to be the ultra humanity. Humanite. You know it's right. You know it's right, people. To me, this should have been a 5-issue arc. This is like an American Son arc, except without Goblinita.
There it goes.
I like saying Goblinita. Deal with it. Fine. Menace. Does that sound better?
No, Goblinita is more fun.
Exactamundo.
All right.
No, I would not recommend dropping this book yet, but it needs to.
Oh, I'm not.
It needs to step up. If it's going to be an actual keeper, because I guarantee if you read 5 of those storylines in a row, you're like, I'm done with this fucking thing.
Maybe. We'll see. There's little touches that can be thrown in there in places that'll save it. But, oh, I totally forgot about that bit of disgustingness. Oh, kids, this guy just pulled out his own spine to use as a sword. Now, how he's still standing up is beyond me. But, he pulled his own spine out to be a sword.
Well, to paraphrase Queen in Highlander, it's a kind of magic.
Yeah, okay.
All right, what else we got?
Our last one for the evening.
And we're actually fully caught up.
We're fully caught up for the moment. Now, I understand that this is reprints from the 50s. I got no problem with reprints from the 50s. However, I was horrified by the art. I've seen a lot of 50s art that was just fine.
No, you know what? This was not good.
No. I had to fight every single page to get through this.
I think I think I stopped. I think I gave this one up.
And I walked in with the mindset, this is from the 50s, this is not going to be something I'm used to. This is not going to be even Silver Age just yet. And
Marvel Man is what we're talking about, by the way.
I can't look at this guy's fucking overbite again. I mean, his mouth goes all the way back to his fucking ears. He's got bigger teeth than Jerry Lewis in the Nutty Professor. Or whatever that fucking movie was when he had the nutty teeth.
And, I believe it was the Nutty Teeth.
But really, I started to question whether these really were 50s reprints.
Yeah, for a second I thought they were making fun of me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it,
like Horus, God of Light, and all that.
Yeah, 1963, yeah. But then, I couldn't tell. I mean, Young Nasty Man? Is that something they'd even try to pull in the mid-50s?
You know what?
Young Nasty Man?
They had dates as if it were all real. So it's either the greatest scam of all time or this is legit. Either way, didn't enjoy this one iota.
No.
Are you going to buy the second one the later years of Marvel Man?
No. It's already on the shelves. I passed it over.
Did you flip through it to see if it was any better?
I did. It's not.
Okay. Well, then I would like to say thank you for not getting it.
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. Marvel Man and the Great Gargunza Mystery. Gargunza is kidnapped. Can't handle it.
Yeah, all set.
Well, kids, that's enough for one night, I think. We're actually a pretty big episode this time. Not too bad, but we covered a lot of good things. We talked about all kinds of fun. We want to remind you that we do have our own site at www.themeangeek.com. We are on Facebook, where you can join our fan club of 32 whole people. You can get us on RSS for automatic feed down straight into your iPod at any moment.
Oh my God, the amazingness!
And bless you fuckers.
Bless you fuckers.
Good night.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. You can find us on iTunes, Podcast Alley, Facebook, Comic Space, our own site, www.themeangeek.com. Subscribe to us through RSS, and most importantly, find us as a proud member on the Comics Podcast Network. Contact us directly through email at themeanergeek@gmail.com.